intuition, nutrition. This is the food for the information that flows through you and you may not be aware of, but these are the things that can help you to feed that. This is not a deep dive into the mystic woo-woo. That's not my style. I'm right here on the ground, on the beach, in fact. It is a beautiful evening. The sun is soon to be setting. And while I still have the light, I thought I'd speak to you about how to connect to your deeper knowing. So, first of all, why does it matter? A lot of people think this is something for, palm readers, tarot card readers, and psychics and channelers. And I've been called all of those things at one point or another, and none of them would I particularly attach to. I just think I am a person who has sensitized myself, sometimes actively and sometimes unwittingly, to being able to hear things that were, I think, always there, actually. And most of the time, perhaps, I was ignoring them. So the reason that it's beneficial for you is that, as you'll be quite clear, I'm sure, the rational mind doesn't always give you answers. There's so many unanswered questions, and maybe some of them are there to remain unanswered, and it's not particularly important. But there's times when we want to get some clarity about something, and you don't have to consult anyone else for that. Sorry to all of you out there who do this for a living. It's not necessary. You have it within you. So let me talk about how you can do that, how you can gain clarity, a deeper sense of self. And as you sensitize yourself to this, you're sensitized to other energies as well. So you'll get a sense for even events that are coming up. You'll have a feeling when you're in a period of change, what's lying ahead. You'll have a feeling for the right situations for you to engage with, the right job, the right people for you, and where your lessons are going to be best learned, if that's a kind of crude way of putting it, but it'll do for now. So there's a lot to be gained from this. And just to give you a little bit of background information, I've worked in sales in the past, and I know that sometimes I did things and said things that were, wow, even by my own estimation, kind of surprising. And I had a sense for people. And I'd like to say that I didn't ever try and manipulate people, but I did definitely get a sense for what felt right for an individual person at times when even they didn't know. And when I look back, as unlikely as it seems, I even had people coming in, I had gentlemen come in more than once, more times than I can count, looking for an engagement ring for their partner and really not sure what to pick. And I found that if they showed me a photograph, they didn't even have to do that, but it was a helpful prompt. I could get a really strong sense of the person, and it was never wrong, apparently. I had many couples come in afterward, and the women would say, "That's amazing, how did you know?" But I think that it's there for everyone, as I said. So let me talk about how you can do that, how you can start to open up to that. So for my own process, and I'll share a little bit about that, I think that I've probably been somewhat intuitive all my life, and I've sometimes it's taken the part of me that is receptive to the intuitive message has been duller in the past, but there have been times when it has been like an impulse so strong that I couldn't ignore it. And, I guess perhaps I needed to have those stronger impulses once upon a time in order to hear. But what began that, I remember exactly where I was. It was a specific spot at a specific time a number of years ago. And there was some kind of, I wish I could remember the actual thought I was having or message that was coming through. But whatever it was, it wasn't massive, it wasn't life-changing, I know that. But whatever it was, I just thought, well, why not, actually? However illogical it might have seemed, or I might have doubted it or feared that I would get it wrong, I decided just to go with it. And, the interesting thing is I've done that more and more and more. And now I don't even question it, actually. And so it's a huge part of my own counseling practice is to bring together, and I couldn't say how much of it is intuitive and how much of it is based on the limited what would you say, narrower world of psychology, which does definitely have its limitations. But I think I've gone well beyond that, and I can pretty quickly pinpoint for people where their obstacles lay and how they got there, and perhaps even the process that they can begin to see that, meet those things, and release them. Okay, so that's enough about me. I want to talk about some practical things. This is useful for you. So I'm sitting by water, and that's something I talk about a lot. Water is really good, extremely good for connecting to those intuitive whispers, if you will. And it doesn't always come in a whisper, by the way. People say that all the time. And for me, that's just bullshit, actually. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it comes gently. Sometimes for me, it's a kick. It's not subtle. It's loud voice, quiet voice, whatever. It seems like it's my voice. And you know, again, I don't get attached to where this comes from specifically. I consider it to be something that flows through me, much like a river. I don't imagine that the channel that holds the river thinks about it holding the river. It simply just runs through. And so in this way, this is a river of information that comes through. But it can be felt more acutely by water. So the shower, a swimming pool, the hot tub, the ocean, of course. Anywhere you can get near water might well be helpful for you to actually feel those intuitive impulses. But the first thing you need to do, if you would like to be sensitive to this, is to learn to just put a little space between you and the rational mind. Don't put so much weight on the importance of the rational mind. So try it on something really small, really simple to start with. Try it on something like, I don't know, maybe you want to make a special meal for somebody, and you're trying to think about, you know, what to make, and maybe you don't know. Maybe you actually don't have the answer through experience as to what they would love. Why don't you try just imagining either a cookbook or a food store. Picture something that you can work with in your mind, that we're all quite visual, and see what you feel drawn to. Just get a sense of it. Get a sense of what draws you, because that's often how I read it. So you have to be prepared to try it, and try it in small ways when you're making decisions or when you're meeting a new person. How do you feel about them? Now, intuition doesn't just come through pictures, obviously. Many people have this in different ways, through sounds, through physical sensations. I get that. I get sensations in my body. Sometimes I get noises, voices. Yeah, I know what that sounds like, but honestly, that's how it comes. I can hear, it sounds like my voice, but I'll have the feeling that it's not. I'll know that it's someone else trying to tell me something. It comes like that. So what else? Okay, I'll talk about it a little and it'll open up. But so it comes to you through different ways. And smell is definitely one of them, and even occasionally touch, which is really fascinating. So be prepared. It's all about your senses. So anything that opens up your senses is good for you, to help you to be more sensitive to your intuition. So your creative process, and being creative about absolutely anything. It could be arranging a table, flowers, could be gardening, it could be writing a letter, music, it could be even a conversation, actually. But absolutely anything that you do that's creative will help open up the intuitive process. And the more, of course, that you're comfortable to be who you are and speak your truth is also going to help you, because you're kind of clearing the glass, the fog of who you think you are, as opposed to who you actually are. And we're all operating under something of a construct of self. And so clearing that makes for clearer hearing and experiencing. So this is part one of the video. I'm going to make a second part for you, and I'll go into this a little bit deeper, into how you may receive these messages.